Business leaders and intellectual business community, we continue to the second segment of our discussions today. The title is From Regional Star to Global Leader, that we take from Harvard Business Review, January 2009. This article talks about the challenges that was faced by a young Chinese person who was appointed by a French company to lead the new product development in China. And I see these challenges much correlates also, I think, with the challenges that Alex faced in his career in multinational company. Because as we know that we grew up in certain cultures, in certain traditions, in a certain way of doing things, and when we meet other people from different cultures, we may have different opinions and we may have different approach, and that can create also some problems of doing things that can also give problems to the career advancement. Let's continue with the discussion with Alex. Alex, now who is your boss? Who are you reporting to?
I report to the managing directors ASEAN based in Bangkok.
Is he an Indonesian?
No. He's a New Zealand guy.
A New Zealand guy.
Yeah.
How often you have contact with him? I mean, more or less, do you have your autonomy that you only face him once in a month, or?
Well, if contact that sometimes we talk over the phone, maybe once in every 3 days or once a week. But for sure, every month that we have like a monthly operation and a business review meeting. And also that sometimes there are some other conference call regarding the products and then finance and etc.
All right. So your previous boss was a Malaysian and now a New Zealand guy, right?
Yeah.
What are your experiences when you see things differently with these people, with this your boss from Malaysian guy and also from the New Zealand guy? You think that you look at the same thing with different perspective because of the different backgrounds?
Well, certainly that leadership and the cultural things that are both different style. Because everyone is different, yeah. So when you have people,
was the difference because of their cultures, because our cultures, or was the difference because of individuals variations?
Partly is cultures and partly is also style of the leaderships. So, like for example, that if you have generals, even five different generals. They all been through different kind of training and different kind of environment, so their style will be also very different.
So you're saying that leadership styles also correlates with the cultures?
On where they have been exposed before, yes.
Okay. So what are the differences in leadership styles between, let's say, you as an Indonesian guy, and then the Malaysian style, and then the New Zealand style?
Well, some people are very hands-on, for example. That, no doubt they sit as a CEO or managing directors, but certain aspect they still involved in the operations.
What style is that?
I don't know, but some people like to have a lot of involvement or direct involvement in the operational, and then some like a style like maybe delegate more to the subordinate, and then they just coordinate and or giving some advice when needed to be. So one is like direct involvement and one is the delegations, and then the other one is probably a combination of both.
I mean, was those styles dependent on the cultures, or it's just that individual variations?
Well, certain basic leadership are the same, right? But it's just like the way how people delivers the message. So again, that some I have no problem with whichever it is, because I as a Indonesians that I grew up here, and then as an Asian I know that how things are worked locally. But I also have advantages that because I stay quite a long time overseas,
Yeah.
I work overseas, so I roughly know also that how the things work with the.
That's why
multinational.
I'm now wondering, are you a typical Indonesian, or you are, you know, physically Indonesian with Western mindset, or in between?
I think that, you know, it depends on when you're looking at what problem or solving what things, you know, because different matters need to be solved different ways.
Have you ever thought about this? I mean, have you ever thought whether my attitudes and my cultures are more closely to the Western style rather than Indonesian style, or more closely to the Singaporean style? Have you ever thought about it?
Well, yeah. When I first came back to Indonesia, when I worked one of the companies, right? So I find that this is very strange, and but just that's the way it is. For example, I got 3 assistants. You know, I was given 3 assistants, so it's like 1 secretary, and then the other 2 is like admin assistants. So where I came from previously, probably I will be given 1, if not sharing the secretary or assistant with some other managers, for example. But here, because probably the perceptions that things are affordable, so never mind, you get more people to help you and etc. But in fact, sometimes it can be the other way around, because it's too confusing, because you get too many people, you don't know which is doing what, and it's just not being very effective. So I would rather to have 1 very good rather than 3 average. You see.
So you're saying that you have a cultural gap bigger with Indonesian rather than with the Westerners?
No, maybe because that I get used to things that different ways, where you know, human resource or human capitals are really scarce, so you get to make use every advantage of the human capitals available. For example, I stay a long time in Singapore, so I work in Singapore, so human capital are scarce, so you have to make use available that whatever that you have from your associate or from your employees.
Frankly speaking, Alex, this is very frank questions. If budget is not a matter, what kind of people, I mean, with the typical background of cultures of them, that you would like to promote as your assistant? I mean, would you like to have a Singaporean, or a New Zealander, or American, or Indonesian? Budget is not a problem.
Well, I hire the best, irregardless where they came from.
No, well, of course, but who do you think is the best by cultural background that match you?
Well, I mean, I don't think that we can generalize that way. But you know, like for example, that like in my factories, that you know, we had an expatriate for the manufacturing, so that's the way that it is. But because maybe the different drive and different leadership in the factories for the tire companies, but for the general management, for the finance, that we can localize, we can hire the best Indonesian available in the market. So why can't we do the same thing, right? So I mean, I'm sure
the manufacturing guy was from
India.
India, and that guy was selected by you.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he was from Goodyear, other places that we transfer him.
All right. And well, okay. I mean, if we are honest, I think we realize that even though not every person will exercise the same level of culture, but mostly people are bound to the culture where they grew up, right? Like Indonesian culture, they grew up, they really think how to save your face rather than to talk things openly to you. And the way that the Westerners do, they talk things openly on the table. Sometimes maybe it's too blunt, but there's nothing wrong, both of them, but it's just the way how a person can take it, right? And you, as a boss, at the same time also a subordinate of your boss, might have also this kind of what do you call it? people consist of logical and emotional, right? You also influenced by like and dislike. You like this way of approach, you don't like this way of approach. I think by knowing that, by discussing that, we can learn something, so that we can also have the audience to learn about this cultural sensitivity. And we will explore more on the next segment, because we have to break a while for the third segment. So for the listeners, for the audience who wants to participate, whether you want to question or you want to comment on this program or this article or this topic, please SMS to 0896 788, and we break for the next segment.